so patient with me. We were trying to get her on a few weeks ago, but there was so much going on. So she is here back, just totally alive and well with us. And this amazing woman's name is Jackie Lappin, and she has been doing so much work with speakers around the world for a very long time. And she just has this huge heart. I love, she always calls me sweetheart, and it just makes my heart just open and just feel really seen and heard. And I know that's what her job is. She really sees people, her speakers, and she helps them get out into the world. So whatever, you're wanting to learn, she has a great website where you can learn about a lot of different speakers. And also today, she's going to share how she's been able to follow her intuition to create this company and also be able to create a life that she loves. So Jackie, welcome to the show. And if you want to introduce yourself formally to everyone, just go ahead.
Thank you, Abby. Oh, I'm so delighted to be here. So my company is committed to helping leaders get on more stages faster so you can change more lives and make more money. It's called Speakertunity, and we are the speaker and leader resource company. And we provide you direct leads where you can get booked for speaking engagements and radio shows and podcasts and virtual summits and TEDx's and virtual networking. And we provide the tools like speaker one sheets that'll help you get booked, and then training courses where it'll help you know just exactly what to say or do so that you can get booked. So we love speakers and leaders and experts and coaches and authors and anybody that needs to get in front of an audience to grow their client base. And we were committed to you. And then the other thing that we do is on my other company, which that's Conscious Media Relations, I do radio podcast tours where I introduce authors and leaders to 9,000 radio shows and podcasts at the same time and guarantee a minimum of 30 interviews. And that's really effective for example, launching a book. And we serve those people on that company. We serve people who are improving one's life, one's business, or the planet. People that are in service to the world. So, Abby, as you talk about intuition, I tell people that I follow the universe's breadcrumbs. And the creation of all this has to do with the fact that I am listening to the signs, to the information that I'm getting, to the nudges that I'm getting that have helped me create. For example, with Speakertunity, we've got 12 different products now with more coming. And it's because I'm sensing that there's a need. I'm being told to move in this direction and fill this void and help in this area. And so I feel really fortunate that I've been giving those kinds of directional instructions. And, if I wasn't listening, those things wouldn't be happening. So it's really important. So, you can see what we've done at speakertunity.com, and it just is a perfect example of how all this is unfolded.
Mm-hmm. So I love that you talk about intuition, because obviously that's the highlight of the show. And how is it that you're following your intuition? Because there's a certain discernment, right? To know, is this my intuition? Is this my head? Is this some other energy I'm picking up on? So how do you just tune in and key into your intuition and know that that is what you're listening to?
Well, for me, I'm not hearing voices. I'm just getting a sense of knowing. That's part of it. Just like, oh, okay, well, that came from somewhere. I'm aware that it's coming into me. Or I get nudges. Like, for example, we were doing our radio podcast tours, happily going along for like 7 years. And people kept asking me, can you book me for speaking engagements? Can you book me for speaking engagements? And while I didn't want to book them for speaking engagements, I felt like the universe was telling me, giving me a message. And I finally slapped myself upside the head. And I said, the universe is telling you something. Why aren't you paying attention? And so I realized that was a message to me. And so we said, well, we don't want to book you, but we know where those engagements all are. Why don't we tell you that? Why don't we give you the information? And that's how Speakertunity was originally born. So, I'll give you another one. Our original subscription product over the year gives speaker leads all over North America. And it's really for a transformational leader. But people were coming to us and they're saying, well, we're dropping off because, we want more business leads, or we want more stuff that's local. Now that's a message to me. So then I created Speaker Opportunity Cities, where we give people up to 1,800 speaker leads just in their market. And it is for both a business person and a transformational person. We cover the ground for everybody in that particular product. So if you can stay open to what the messages are, what you're hearing, what the universe is directing you to, the pathways. And I'm a firm believer that, the universe will put it in your pathway, but if you don't act on it, that opportunity is going to go away. So the key to making your intuition a valued resource is to pay attention to it and then start acting on it. Now, you may not know ultimately the outcome and where you're going to go and where it's going to take you, but if you start moving forward, the universe will put bridges along the path so that you can go, oh, that's where I need to go next. Or, oh, I'm going to need to head in that direction. Let me see where that takes me. So, and yes, we've had things that have not worked out intimately, but what I learned along the way has helped me in some other area. So I believe that every experience is one that's a teaching experience, and the universe is offering some kind of a benefit for me, no matter where I'm heading. There is some benefit to the experience I'm having. And even if it's not necessarily a pleasant one, I also believe that if you are faced with things that are challenges, running away from them will only cause them to reoccur and reoccur and reoccur, which is part of your intuition. The universe is like slamming you over the head with a 2x4 if you're not paying attention. And so I believe that the most important thing you can do is have courage to stand in whatever the challenge is, whether it's admitting you did a mistake or dealing with somebody that's less than pleasant or having to have tough financial negotiations. If you run away from it, it's only going to come back to haunt you. If you step into it, knowing from that standpoint that the universe has your back, and that you're going to make the best effort to resolve this with kindness and compassion and thoughtfulness, things will work out. Things will move in the right direction, and you will feel comfortable in your own skin.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you describe intuition as a knowing. So I often will say, bring your awareness from your head to your heart, which, connects you to everyone and everything, to your gut, because there's a certainty and a knowing of truth at your gut that we just know that we know. And so when you're listening to that knowing, and like you said, taking action on it, you don't always know how something's going to work out. You just know that it will. And it really is that higher part of you that's guiding you. And that's what's really fun about it, right? It's kind of like surprise me, in really fun ways. So I just really encourage everybody to feel that place of knowing within them and take those steps forward in trust and faith that, like you said, the universe has your back. And really, your intuition is like the universe embodied within you, right? It's really your soul's guidance embodied. So when you're following that, you're in alignment.
I kind of think of myself as God's messenger in a lot of ways, and I'm here to deliver messages. I'm here to help people deliver their messages. So for the first time that I ever realized that it was one of the things that I do, the real gift that I have is writing. That's the skill that God gave me. And we haven't talked about this, but I started out my career as one of the first women sports writers in America. And so writing has been a constant for me. And my secret sauce, my superpower, is when I'm writing a pitch letter for somebody to promote them to our radio shows, is to really synthesize their soul, their message, their mission, their book, all in 1.5 pages. And I really feel that coming through me. I know that that's just not me, that is something that's being brought through me. And the first time I ever felt that, I was a young sports writer, still in college, and I was invited to write a piece for Los Angeles magazine on a baseball player with the LA Dodgers. And when I sat down at the typewriter, we were still using typewriters in those days, to write that piece, it literally flowed through me. I mean, I was astounded at the fact that it just whoosh. And when I handed it off to Los Angeles magazine, Now, mind you, I'm a college kid here. They changed one line, one line. So, the fact that it was near perfect told me that this was something that was crafted beyond me.
Yeah. And through you, right? So the universe is working through you as you to something even greater. And so it's like when we tune in and allow that to flow, we are naturally in service.
Yeah.
And it feels really right. It feels good. It's very uplifting and inspiring. I had a similar experience when I first started my company. Literally, the words "life force connection" got written up like through my hands. I'm like, oh, that's my company name, right? So as long as you're open and you're in alignment with that love, it's gonna flow through you. So, to practically apply, wherever you are right now in your life, whatever you'd like to create or experience, you can ask for your intuition to guide you, right? So it could be, I want to create this new step in my career or relationship or health or whatever it is. And then you just say, okay, intuition, activate, and then notice what happens. And even at a deeper level, I believe and know we all have a soul purpose, right? So if you ask to be in alignment with that, then it just kind of unfolds, right? This greater plan for your life unfolds because you're listening to that knowing within you. And
well,
that
you know
allows.
what? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it. You're good.
And I learned a tremendous amount about the energy that all makes this happen when I was writing my books, The Art of Conscious Creation, How You Can Transform the World, and Practical Conscious Creation, Daily Techniques to Manifest Your Desires. It was very clear to me that I was called to write those books. It was clear to me that the universe was orchestrating something, because the first one came out just at the time The Secret did. So the universe was giving both all of us similar messages. And by the time the second one came out, and the world had already changed. People were beginning to understand the power of our energy, and that energy is that force that is the universal intelligence working through us.
Mm-hmm. Life force connection, baby. The force be with you. Yeah. Totally. It really is. It's that positive life force energy, really, that's giving life, that's constantly moving us forward if we listen. Right. And that place of safety within is that knowingness. So again, just, I invite everybody just to maybe take a moment to close your eyes, tune in, bring your awareness into your heart. Just take a few deep breaths together in our hearts. Just relaxing, becoming fully present to this moment. Just feeling your heart soften and open to what the universe wants to share, what your soul wants to share with you right now, today, in this moment. And as you start to feel that message, even in a feeling tone, whether they're words or a knowing or whatever it is that just feels right, start to allow your awareness to now drift down a couple inches below your belly button, right to your gut feeling, that instinctual knowing, that certainty, that place of truth that you just know that you know that you know. You know what truth feels like. Maybe even place your hand on your belly, connecting to that truth. And then just ask that truth to guide you. So just, universe, I'm open to be guided. And then it's just each moment you're listening with, okay, I'm guided here. And now I'm guided here. And I don't know why, but I just know that I'm guided here in this moment to be here. And then the next moment and the next moment. And you will find that naturally serves people. It serves you and it serves others. So again, I just invite you to start tuning in. And whenever you're ready, you're more than welcome to open your eyes, of course, to where you're being guided, right? And watch, like, miracles upon miracles. I mean, I live in Encinitas, and that was a full-on miracle. I mean, I had somebody move my house for me from Oregon. I mean, it was like each step is just literally paved. There's an affirmation that I often say. It's like, universe, show me where love has paved the way before me. Because it's already done. That's why your intuition is saying, I know, go in this direction, because the universe has already carved that path out for you. So when you have the courage to step into it, the solution, the answer is there. And so that comes with the trust, right? And sometimes, your heart is really the first step to your guidance. So you can place, both hands on your heart because your heart is the gateway to your intuition, which is that gut feeling, your inner compass that says, go here. Remember, we paved this way over here. Go here. Right? And if you don't go there in that moment, then maybe you'll be redirected to another place, right? So go there, because you can only be present in this moment and then the next moment. So yeah, Jackie, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, but it's kind of fun to play with.
No, I just, I just, a lot of times I'll just say, God, what do you want me to know today?
Yeah.
I just open the door and say, okay, what is it for me to know today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll often say like, okay, how can I serve? Like, show me the way to serve, right? Like it's just the easiest way to just open up, and be of service, be useful. Very cool. So, Jackie, what is it that prompted you to start your company? So, how did you feel activated from your intuition from within to even start this mission that you're on?
Well, let's take the chronology all the way back. At 11 years old, I decided that I wanted to be a sports writer. Now, there were no women sports writers back in those days. But I married my two favorite things, the Los Angeles Dodgers and my love of writing. And I put the two of them together and I said, I can be a sports writer. So I learned to write by reading the LA Times every single day, the sports section. And then set myself on a career for journalism. Amazing doors opened to do those years. And I won the Baseball Writers Scholarship when I was in my sophomore year. No women had ever done that before. And by the time I was 20, I was at the Detroit Free Press. 21, I was at the Associated Press and on the front pages of the LA Times. And 22, I was at the Washington Post. I segued from there into having one of the largest sports special events and cable TV PR agencies in America, and against much great opposition that said no woman's going to survive in this business, until I ended up with an absolutely world-class client list, all kinds of companies like Toyota and Avon and Seagram's and Showtime, and I can go on and on and on. And the last thing I did was launch the worldwide poker phenomenon with the World Poker Tour. In the latter days of my full-time PR career, the media had changed. It was going to social media. It had contracted. There were not nearly as many opportunities to get publicity for the kinds of things that I was doing. And that's when I wrote the two books. And by the time I had written the second book, Practical Conscious Creation, I realized that my heart lay with the people who were the messengers of the world, the people who were making it a better place, the servant leaders. And so I decided to shift and rebrand my agency to Conscious Media Relations. And, and again, I was following my heart. This is what I wanted to do. This is where I had feeling and emotion, was serving that community. And so that's when we started doing the radio podcast tours, and come about, I guess now 6 years ago, when the people started asking for the speaking opportunities. That's what lit that flame. And then we started going down that route. And so I basically continued to serve on both tangents of that. But it comes from the same place of wanting to be to serve what God put me here to do, which is clearly, I know how to get people booked for things. I mean, I've been doing that for 40 years. I want to teach that skill and give people more so that they can do it on their own. It doesn't have to just be me any longer. I'm getting to the point in my life where I want, more ease and grace in my life. And sort of do that, I have to build something that can really sustain itself. And that's what Speakertunity is. And that can exist long after me. So that's a legacy. That's a legacy that I'm building. And I'm looking toward the next several years to being able to turn things over to my team, be able to step in and say, okay, this is the next thing we're going to do. This is the next direction we're going, and then go off and play a little bit more. So that's really what I'm looking to do.
Wow. I just, as you're talking, I'm thinking about the foundation of love, right? So you've created a company on the foundation of love. So anything that you are doing, and we teach this in the intuitive success coaching process, is your intuition is always going to ground you in love, right? And so I've been doing this work, I don't know, a long time, since I was 19, right? And so it builds on itself because love is the greatest sustainer, right? So when you're on that foundation, it can continue to grow.
Right.
And anything that isn't that usually falls away. So if you can trust, wherever you're living from in your core, and it's funny, I do invite everybody to go to lifeforceconnection.com. It's my site. I'll plug myself for a minute, and you can see how you can activate that center. There's a free gift on there because you want to come from that place. And I feel like we're constantly, like, even as you were talking, like, tested love or fear, right? Like, what vibration do you want to build from? So if you can move into that solid center, you can build a company like Jackie's, right? Like, you can share your mission from the heart and watch it grow. And in my experience, it's really about relationships. You don't make it grow. You're just constantly being loved. And naturally, it's growing a network that thousands of people start to follow you, and you're not even like aware of it. You just wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these people here. Like, truly, because you can't like think it, right? You're just being it. So, when you become the energy of what you want, you can't help but attract it, right? It's a match. So really, working with your own vibration, and, in intuitive success coaching, it's like you become from the inside out that. And so it's like, oh, it's natural. That's easy. Like you kind of said, you weren't efforting. And I think the moment you effort, you kind of ask yourself, how can I move back into alignment? And then it will be a flow. It's like a river, It's like, I remember, because you were like, where are you living now, sweetheart? And I was telling you, Encinitas. Before I left, I stood in the river in Oregon. I was in Eugene, Oregon. And I literally took my hand, and I felt the energy come through me and move me from the river to the ocean, right? It's like I was being moved. And it was the same thing in LA. I know you're kind of near LA. I got a scholarship to go to school, and then I was literally moved down to Southern California. Like, my body moved me. So when you're in that, like, if you do think about almost like a river of energy coming through the top of your head, down to your heart, to your core, let yourself be moved into alignment with who you are, right? And then become the manifestation of that. And that can, right? It can birth children, it can birth worlds, it can birth businesses, right? It is the life force. So I just really invite you all to explore that and have the courage to see what that is without judgment, right? Because your soul already knows why you're here. So is there anything you want to add to that, my friend?
No, I don't think so. I think you've nailed it, sweetheart.
Nailed the new house. Yeah, so I guess I'm just feeling everybody's heart in this moment, and yeah, just inviting you all to place your hand on your heart and feel what's inside of your heart. What is your heart's desire? What do you want to feel, as if you were to step into living what you want now? What does that feel like in your senses? Notice what you're smelling, maybe what you're even tasting, to already be living your heart's desire. Notice who's around you. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And what do you feel in your body? Lightness? Do you feel expansion? Just notice. And as you keep your hand on your heart, just visualize a color coming through your body. And then maybe take your right hand and bring that color into that image. And just let it get stronger and stronger, almost like there's a hue of that color around that image. Allow it to just become fully alive. And then from that future moment, kind of look back on this present moment and ask yourself, what are the 3 steps I took that allowed me to have that vision? And you may want to jot those down or just note them. inside yourself. What are the 3 things that you did, that you allowed to happen, that really created this experience as a reality? And whenever that feels complete for you, you can gently blink open your eyes and notice how you feel. I just want to do a really quick shout out to Oneness Talk Radio. So these people brought me as a guest on this amazing show, and they're doing a huge event called WWA this March, and people can sign up for, I think, as little as $20 to get the online version. They're doing this amazing equinox in Ecuador. So I just invite everybody to go to WWA, I think global.com. And it's so funny, literally right as I said that, their website flashed up on my screen. I'm not even kidding. So to check that out, so you can have that activation of oneness, because I just know for me, that's one of the greatest gifts we have with each other, right? Is coming together. And like I said, that is what grows your businesses, your life, everything, right? Is that relationship. So I just really encourage everybody to go there. Jackie, what else, my friend?
Well, I think
what was your experience?
I think that one of the greatest inspiring factors in intuition is nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take what I call my sacred Sundays out in my backyard. I have a bunch of waterfalls, and I'm trees and birds, and I have ducks in my pool right now. You know, and just being out in nature, I think, is one of the fastest and best ways to jumpstart your intuition. Being quiet in nature, appreciating, you know, that it makes you brings you into the present moment, makes you feel alive, and it makes you more open to hearing the messages, I think. Do you experience that, Love?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, you know how I was telling you about the river and the hand thing. So I was just telling a friend the other day how powerful it was. It was like almost like a shamanic energy of, I was so connected to the universe and to nature in that moment that I remember shortly thereafter, I went down another trail and there was like 20 geese, and they literally all just stopped and stared at me. And then it was like, I felt like they were telling me, just get to the ocean, because I'm a Pisces. I just need water, right? So as soon as I was like, yeah, I got the message, they walked to the pond and started, like, you know, fanning themselves in the water. And so it was like, it's constantly talking to us. Like, I was so in harmony in that moment that 20 geese stopped and said, get to the water, right? Basically. So it's like, what is nature telling you? You know, I'll walk down the street and it's like trees bow down, right? It's like the universe is here to serve us. So if you're listening with nature, I mean, another one is like crows, right? Like when I really need to hear something, I'll hear like all these crows like coming at me, right? And it's just kind of like, it's constantly trying to talk to us. So I would just invite you to maybe go for a nature walk. I mean, when we do the classes in person, it's like, I literally have people not say anything and just go for a walk in silence and feel what nature is saying to them. And so as you do that, you know, you'll get the message that you need. 100%.
I have 300 roses on my property.
Wow.
And when they bloom, which is going to be another 2 to 3 weeks from now, about 3 weeks from now, I feel the opening inside of me as well as out there, you know, on those plants. You know, it's a reawakening. Spring is a really amazing time for people. You know, I get spring fever. There's no question about it. And I think that's God tapping me on the shoulder and saying, enjoy the beauty.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. Just looking out to nature in the moment. It's like, yeah. I mean, if you even see like a tree, like how rooted it is, you know, it's such a great analogy for our bodies and intuition, is just to be rooted, you know, to the core of the earth. that there is just pure light holding us, that we really are held. So,
Well, we are light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Huh. Yeah. It's funny, I was starting to go somewhere and then you're like, we are light. I'm like, let's talk about that. That's a great subject. What else do you want to say about that? I mean, really, I'm serious. What else would you, because I love that. I love working with the light and acknowledging that we are the light. And I know for me, like I've been afraid of the darkness, right? Because I'm like, ooh, like that, it feels scary. Anything other than light feels scary to me. And so like ways to work with the darkness from our light, right? To know that we're here to shine on it. But I guess I would be curious, even for my own growth, like, what would you say about that? Because I had a friend the other day say, Abby, you can never like, expect the world to not have darkness. You just have to bring your light to it, because I'm like, dispel darkness. And she's like, all right, maybe you can dispel it, but you're not going to end it. It's here, it's part of life.
We're vibrational human beings, and we're vibrational beings. And it's not a matter of whether there's light or there's darkness. It's how high are you on the frequency scale? And, are you at the higher frequencies, which is where there is greater light, and or in the denser lower frequencies where there is less light getting through, and there's more darkness. And the more that you raise your personal frequency and manage your frequency and are aware of where you are emotionally and thought wise, then you have much greater control over your relationship with the universe. Because if you are vibrating in the higher range of this, of faith and joy and purpose and love, and then in fact that's all, it's what the law of attraction is all about. That's what you're going to be vibrating with. But that's what you're going to attract. If you are vibrating in the denser, then you're going to have more validation to attract all the things that are reinforcing of what you're feeling and experiencing. So if you're feeling, unhappy and jealous and, mired in misery, and, you're helpless and you're feeling, the world is out to get you, or that nothing ever works out for you. If you're doing all of that, then you're going to attract more that in fact is going to inspire those experiences for you. So it behooves you to be conscious of the energy you're putting out. I know, for example, and when I'm having a bad day, and when I am sucky, or when I'm feeling bad about something I ate the night before because I'm abusing the beautiful body that God gave me. If I focus on that, if that repeats in my mind, I know that the next day is not going to be a pleasant one, because the universe is going to feed me more to support that. So I have to consciously think, okay, let's reorient this. Let's get out of that thought pattern, get out of that emotional pattern. I need to start focusing on something much more positive, looking at, what can I do that's going to make me feel more contributory, and less on me. And so when I do that, everything turns around. But I know I'm responsible for the experiences I have based on the energy that I am putting out into the world. If I want to have more positive experience, if I want to have a smoother path, I need to be embodying that in my life, and then it'll come to me.
Yeah, I love that. There's part of the course I teach is like we're like emitters of energy, right? Exactly. So you have this vibration, you're emitting it out, and then it's coming back. And so I think, the way to move into alignment with those higher frequencies is, what do I need to do to move in alignment? How can I be more on purpose? What does bring me joy? What do I love, right? So finding some questions that can start to move you into that place of the higher frequencies.
Well, and that's really what both of my books are about. But the second one, particularly, Practical Conscious Creation, Daily Techniques to Manifest Your Desires. Basically, it's got 70 little articles and 70 little tips that that just change how you look at life and make yourself into a positive frequency being. Just little things that you do going about your daily life will raise your frequency, as opposed to after sitting and meditating and just visioning and all of that. That's great stuff. But you don't have to go there. You can do other little tiny things that are going to change everything you do on a daily basis, and how you see the world. And you're just going to lighten up. That simple answer is you'll lighten up. And so, there's just so many different ways to do it. There's not one way.
Mm-hmm. How can they get that book, Jackie?
It's on Amazon.
Okay.
You can Google me, on Amazon. Just look for my name. The first book, The Art of Conscious Creation, is now on Audible. And then you can also go to my other website, which is JackieLappin.com, as opposed to Speakertunity and Conscious Media Relations. If you go to JackieLappin.com, you're going to see a lot more on practical conscious creation, because that's what I teach. And I don't spend, it's not my focus of my professional career these days, but it's where my heart is. And I will always be teaching that. And I just want to make it easy for people to slide right into a lifestyle that enables them to be more light bearers in the world.
I love that. Be a Care Bear light bear. No, I'm just kidding. I just thought of Care Bears. They're so cute. I love them. So really, and just what does light up your life? Like follow your inspiration is the other thing. It's like maybe it's going on a bike ride or a run or walk or something, just even something small, seemingly small, can be really big, because it can shift that frequency. I love what you shared.
Music can do that.
Yeah, totally. I guess what was starting to come through a while ago was, how have you seen or helped people overcome blocks to their intuition, right? So I know for me, I feel like I've fallen short before, like, okay, my intuition says to do this, but I feel afraid, or I'm then now rerouted here. Like at one point it's do this and the next point it's do that. And I'll go into like a self-judgment thing. So that would be a personal example. Is there any other way that you would say, okay, this is how you overcome that? Because I obviously work with clients for years on that, and just transparently sharing something I went through. How do you encourage people to overcome things like that, right? Where they feel fear and need to reroute and then kind of move back into alignment. So basically overcoming blocks.
Well, I think the first thing is get quiet and really spend some time in, dialogue with your heart. That's the first and foremost. If you're confused, then do that. Muscle testing is a great one. If you can do, muscle testing in some way, you'll find what the truth is for you. Is this something I want to do? Yes. If this is something I don't want to do, it'll help you. That's one guide that I think people can use. I think also there's so many wonderful, if you have a trusted intuitive in your life, somebody who can, all right, so I've got this message and I got this inclination. What is the guidance from the other side? That helps sometimes. If you need that extra validation for whatever it is that you're feeling, but make sure it's somebody that you know and you trust, and isn't just going to tell you what you want to know. And then clear your desk of everything that you are engaged with, and just start making. If I were to follow this path, where can I go with this? And start writing out your notes. Like most people, a lot of people like to do things handwriting. I prefer things, if I'm going to sit down, I'm going to map it out, I'm going to do it on a computer. And I'm going to say, okay, so where would this go? What would be the strategy? How would I do this? And explore, just simply explore. Don't block it. Say, what if? What if? Start from the process of what if? And once you start down that path, you'll start to see the pathway. It'll start to become clearer to you. Just Just don't allow fear to rule your life.
Mhm. Yeah. It's like illuminate the pathway, right? So like we talked about, the knowing is pointing you down the illuminated pathway of your highest potential. So like you say, what if, okay, what if I lean into that? What if I keep walking down that path? And then, like you said, you'll start to get more comfortable with it probably, right? Because, okay, this is where it's leading. Oh, that feels good. All right, I'll keep going there, you know?
Well, and one of the things that in a lot of personal choices, one of the things that I've told people for years, ask this question: is this life enhancing or is this life destructive?
Hmm.
If this is life enhancing, that's the direction I have to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful. And I think you'll feel it in your body, you know. So you mentioned muscle testing, which is obviously your body's feedback of telling you, you know, yes, this is good for you, or no, it's not. And to really trust that, you know, because it's like, that's where the gut feeling comes in, is it's telling you your yes or your no. And it's very clear. It's either a yes that feels good, like, I love Jackie, okay, yes, or no, like, you know, like, I don't want to step in dog poop. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very clear. A yes and a no are very just clear. You know, you know it. You know, like, one of the things that drives me crazy. There's somebody that, oh man, he would always say, I don't know. And I'm like, you absolutely know. Like, you're kind of lying to yourself, because you do know. You just may not want to know, but you do already know the truth, right? And so I think that, like, to admit the truth to ourselves and be like, all right, now we're moving with this. And for whatever reason, my guidance is this, and to trust that. And like you said, move in those higher frequencies of faith, and purpose. You know, I mean, I know for me, it always needs to have some form, it has to be of service, right? Like, I don't feel fulfilled unless I'm serving. So, and I kind of think we're all like that at some level, right? I just think that that's the way we're made, is because we're all connected. We naturally are meant to serve each other.
Indeed.
You know?
Indeed.
So,
Well, and the greatest sense of satisfaction you can have in your life is where you're in service to others, whether that's on a personal thing where you're just going to go and help somebody who needs it, you know, around your corner, or whether that's from a business standpoint. When you know that you are serving, you get yourself out of the way, and that sense of accomplishments and achievements and power is um, something that can propel you forward.
mhm. It's funny. I noticed your hands on your throat chakra. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, not
What's your truth?
nope.
Yeah.
Normally I wear
Yeah.
turtlenecks, you know, because it's cold, and today I decided against it. So it's like keeping my neck warm.
That's funny. I don't know. I always just notice body language, and yes, I understand you're trying to keep yourself warm. It just kind of inspires me to ask people, you know, if you were to put your hand on your throat, what is your highest truth? You know, if you're allowing yourself to speak your highest truth, which will come up from your heart, right? Notice how your throat chakra is above your heart. So your highest truth will always be aligned with love. And maybe just ask yourself, like, what is my highest truth? How am I meant to serve in the world, right? So you can have that sense of accomplishment. And you might start to notice your third eye opens, right? You might get visions of, oh man, this, that, oh, that feels good, right? And then opening up to your crown, which is the universe really speaking through you, you know? So again, whether it's a knowing, a feeling, a thought that feels right, that resonates, meaning feels good through your body, then you'll know to take action on it, you know? So I think just kind of listening to that and moving in alignment with that.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, is there anything else you want to share this morning?
I am just delighted to be with you and your community. And I am honored and grateful, always grateful, to serve as a liaison for those messages that the universe wants to get out to the world, through yourself, through people like you, through other leaders who want to deliver it, and through the messages that I'm given. I am a messenger. That is my mission in life.
Yeah. Mm. Absolutely. You are. Well, thank you so much for being on this show. Before we log off, do you just want to just share the websites and ways that people can connect with you via email? If they want to just reach out to you personally, if they have a message to share, please just feel free.
Okay, absolutely. So if you're interested in exploring the Speakertunity resources and getting your message out into the world, go to speakertunity.com, and that's like speaker and opportunity put together. And if you are interested in looking at having us do your radio podcast tour, you can go to consciousmediarelations.com. If you're interested in my practical conscious creations teachings, you can go to jackielapin.com, JACKIELAPIN.com. And you can always reach me at Jackie at speakertunity.com. So I'm always happy to chat with people and see how we might be of service and support you. And you got questions, reach out to me and let's get connected.
She's so good at getting back to you. I love getting her emails. It's pretty prompt response. So yeah.
Well, and if people want to stay up on what's coming from Speakertunity, because we got a bunch of really cool stuff there, including regional speaker directories that give you up to 1,800 speaker leads in your own market. If you want to stay up, there's actually a place on the bottom of that page to send and get registered. So we will keep you up on all the new stuff coming. So, because we keep creating that we're following that intuition.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Jackie. It's such a pleasure to see you again. And I'm sure we'll be in touch soon. I just really encourage everybody to reach out to her and just follow your intuition, let love pave the way before you and trust yourself. So,
thank you, Abby. I'm so joyful to be here with you.
You too, love. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye.